All right, beautiful creative people. It is really an honor for me to introduce the next speaker. Dust might not know, but he's been part of my mood boards and my top inspiration since I was in design school. We actually recently launched a website together where I was on the client side, and it was a total pleasure to collaborate with Dust and the rest of the Locomotive team. Of course, Locomotive team does not need much introduction. 7 times best web agency in the world by the awards, Webby Awards nominee and couple of time winners. I think they accumulated something like 280 awards as I checked it this morning. They might have won something in between now. They even made one of their clients win a Webby Award. For sure, he's going to talk about it. Dust has been like the creative director and creative mind behind big part of this success of Locomotive. Personally, I'm really happy to say that Locomotive has been part of my career, and it's really a pleasure to have him here as a host for the second time in an EvolveDigital event. So put your cell phone down and really make some noise for the one and only Dust Leblanc from Montreal.
Epic intro, man. Can I record you and use it for the... But what's up, guys? I'm super happy to be here. Of course, I'm French, so bear with me with my accent. They say I'm okay, but you'll notice with the TH and the small mistakes. But I'll do fine. Alors bonjour. I'm from Locomotive. Just by a raise of hand, like who knows Locomotive? Just so I can adjust the story a bit. Okay, some people don't. Some people okay, cool. I'll give more details this way. So we're an agency in Montreal. We're about 30 people. So if you look at it, we're separated in 3 departments at the agency. So operation, design, and development. So about 10 people managing 20. About 8 designers and art directors and 12 developers. This team is able to do a minimum of 20 websites every year, which is quite some velocity for a small team like that. And like you said, this got us to win 7-time award Agency of the Year. I know it's 6 because we did this whole campaign with the ring because we thought it was the last one we would ever won, and then the next year we won again. So we keep it on the low for the next one. So my talk today is called Rebranding Yourself is Easy, said no one ever. But before I dig in the subject, let's see what the Locomotive does best.
Yeah, I gotta keep it trendy on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots from my neck. Self-respect, when you out of line, you put yourself in check. They don't hear me, they don't hear me though. Like me going round and around like a merry-go. Stand for truth, or fall for any old scenario. That's why I keep my circle smaller than a Cheerio. Just the company you keep. Stay low, please don't get caught sleep. Sowing what you reap. Know your worth, and no so cheap. It goes inside of me, they take it out of me. No matter where I've been, not where I'm meant to be. I be shining perfect time and check your watch. And I know, boy, damn, I am no longer lost. I got tired of walking around with a mask on, smiling with my heart, singing sad songs. Yeah, I was living for myself, I was dead wrong till I get the call, no cell phone.
So some of our recent and best work. So today is more about a little story I want to tell you guys. And it's the story of how we rebranded the Locomotive a couple years ago. And just a fun little thing, I did this talk for the first time in New York in 2024 for the awards conference. And of course, if you know Locomotive a bit, we try to cultivate genuine friendship. And this is where I want to contrast with the family. Like you can't get out of your family, but you can definitely get out of the friendship. And this goes way beyond just the regular day-to-day happy hours and ping pong and stuff like that. We actually create an environment so people can spend time together outside of work. We have an annual retreat. So every year we take the whole team into the Caribbean. 1 week you're paid, you have your salary, and the trip is paid. And the only goal is to really connect together outside of work, create friendships. And what it does every year, it takes those new people that just got here this year that are a bit shy, and after that trip, it's like everybody and they're your friend. And it really translates into the work of what we do. And the third one is to have room to grow. And this is a tricky one when you're a small agency, because you don't have like titles for everyone all the time. So I can go even me, I've been creative director at Locomotive for 10 years. I mean, I've reached pretty much a ceiling. There's no other title I can slap to my name. So we try to find ways for people to really push their career forwards. For me, for example, is public speaking. This is my first ever conference in 2018 in Amsterdam at the awards conference. A bit of a bigger stage than than here today. There was about 2,000 people in front of me. I was shitting my pants, like we say. But I went through, and it really got me out of my comfort zone. And now I'm doing this like 10 times a year, and I'm having fun sharing stories and sharing stuff like that. And the last one to me is the one that ties everything together. It's kind of obvious, but it's to have your team back. And this is where I'm a sports fan. I'm gonna call out my good friend Phil Jackson, who has a marvelous quote for me that inspires me. Is the strength of the team is each individual, and the strength of each member is the team. And this is so true. I mean, we can't do shit without the individuals, and the team really fuels them. So day 299, why not 300? I don't know, I'm just putting numbers up there. There's one thing we knew for sure. We knew where we were. We kind of articulated our vision, and we want to get rid of all the choo-choos, the train icons, all the easy locomotive references. And we go back to the drawing boards, and we try to explore different avenues, from graffitis on trains, or signalytics that you'll find, or symbols you'll find in a train station and everything. But we keep spinning, not being able to really grasp something that we really like. So at this point, we went to Bahia, we went to my friend, my strategist friend. So I go back to the OG, and by day 320, I go to see my friend Greg Durrell at Olsen Durrell at the time, but Tomorrow Creative Services. They're a branding agency in Vancouver, small studio. They're about 4 people. And throughout the years, I've worked with Greg on many projects, a lot of sports. So Swimming Canada in 2014, to Rugby Canada in 2016, Volleyball Canada in 2018, U Sports, which is the equivalent of the NCAA in Canada, in 2019. But the project that I really loved working with him, and it's kind of a highlight of my career, that I had the chance to work on the rebranding of the actual Olympics with them. Not the whole journey, because it took 8 years to do. It was a crazy experience. Just to give you a little anecdote, the first time I was taking care of the digital art direction, and my first meeting to present one page was in a meeting with 72 person on a Google Meet. I had marketing department, branding department, editorial department, all the departments you can have. It took me 10 minutes to present the page, and we went for a 3-hour rant on feedbacks and comments. So we still have PTSD from this client, but just to give you more insight on me and Greg, and on him too, and how we really connected together as designers, is through his film Design Canada. And if you haven't seen that film, I would urge you to go on Apple or whatever platform it's available. It's a wonderful film about all the modernist designs of the 60s and 70s in Canada. You can, from the actual Canadian flag that was designed, to the Montreal 76 Olympics, to the CBC, to all these logos. And this is how we actually started a relationship in 2016. When I was so in love with this movie, I was like, hey, you know, we'll do a website for the movie. And the idea was to kind of create a pamphlet website where people can get more information about the designers that are presented in the film. And it was a great opportunity for the team to experiment with WebGL. You saw like the little animations of the design. And we took a bunch of design from the film and integrated into like transitions, or you can see it soon. Yeah, like some cool transition like that. It's a bit slow looking back at it, you know, like I think websites are way more snappy today. It was kind of like the 2016 vibe. So coming from this work, I go back to Greg and I'm like, I want to design Canada logo, you know, like I want a modernist, cool symbol that we can use. And so Greg, me, and the team start working. And of course, if you know Locomotive a bit, we try to cultivate genuine friendship. And this is where I want to contrast with the family. You know, like you can't get out of your family, but you can definitely get out of the friendship. And this goes way beyond just the regular day-to-day happy hours and ping pong and stuff like that. We actually create an environment so people can spend time together outside of work. We have an annual retreat. So every year we take the whole team into the Caribbean. 1 week you're paid, you have your salary, and the trip is paid. And the only goal is to really connect together outside of work, create friendships. And what it does every year, it takes those new people that just got here this year that are a bit shy, and after that trip, you know, it's like you know everybody and they're your friend. And it really translates into the work of what we do. And the third one is to have room to grow. And this is a tricky one when you're a small agency, because you don't have like titles for everyone all the time. You know, so I can go like, even me, I've been creative director at Locomotive for 10 years. I mean, I've reached pretty much a ceiling. There's no like other title I can slap to my name. So we try to find ways for people to really push their career forwards. For me, for example, is public speaking. This is my first ever conference in 2018 in Amsterdam at the awards conference. A bit of a bigger stage than than here today. There was about 2,000 people in front of me. I was shitting my pants, like we say. But I went through, and it really got me out of my comfort zone, and now I'm doing this like 10 times a year, and I'm having fun sharing stories and sharing stuff like that. And the last one to me is the one that ties everything together. It's kind of obvious, but it's to have your team back. And this is where I'm a sports fan. I'm gonna call out my good friend Phil Jackson, who has a marvelous quote for me that inspires me. Is the strength of the team is each individual, and the strength of each member is the team. And this is so true. I mean, we can't do shit without the individuals, and the team really fuels them. So day 299, why not 300? I don't know, I'm just putting numbers up there. There's one thing we knew for sure. We knew where we were, we kind of articulated our vision, and we want to get rid of all the choo-choos, the train icons, all the easy Locomotive references. And we go back to the drawing boards and we try to explore different avenues, from graffitis on trains, or signalytics that you'll find, or symbols you'll find in a train station and everything. But we keep spinning, you know, not being able to really grasp something that we really like. So at this point, we went to Bahia, we went to my friend, my strategist friend. So I go back to the OG. And by day 320, I go to see my friend Greg Durrell at Olsen Durrell at the time, but Tomorrow Creative Services. They're a branding agency in Vancouver, small studio. They're about like 4 people. And throughout the years, I've worked with Greg on many projects, a lot of sports. So Swimming Canada in 2014, to Rugby Canada in 2016, Volleyball Canada in 2018, U Sports, which is the equivalent of the NCWA in Canada, in 2019. But the project that I really loved working with him, and it's kind of a highlight of my career, that I had the chance to work on the rebranding of the actual Olympics with them. Not the whole journey, because it took 8 years to do. It was a crazy experience. Just to give you a little anecdote, the first time I was taking care of the digital art direction, and my first meeting to present one page was in a meeting with 72 person on a Google Meet. I had marketing department, branding department, editorial department, all the departments you can have. It took me 10 minutes to present the page, and we went for a 3-hour rant on feedbacks and comments. So we still have PTSD from this client, but just to give you more insight on me and Greg, and on him too, and how we really connected together as designers, is through his film Design Canada. And if you haven't seen that film, I would urge you to go on Apple or whatever platform it's available. It's a wonderful film about all the modernist designs of the 60s and 70s in Canada. You can, from the actual Canadian flag that was designed, to the Montreal 76 Olympics, to the CBC, to all these logos. And this is how we actually started a relationship in 2016. When I was so in love with this movie, I was like, hey, we'll do a website for the movie. And the idea was to kind of create a pamphlet website where people can get more information about the designers that are presented in the film. And it was a great opportunity for the team to experiment with WebGL. You saw like the little animations of the design. And we took a bunch of design from the film and integrated into like transitions, or you can see it soon. Yeah, like some cool transition like that. It's a bit slow looking back at it, like I think websites are way more snappy today. It was kind of like the 2016 vibe. So coming from this work, I go back to Greg and I'm like, I want a Design Canada logo, like I want a modernist, cool symbol that we can use. And so Greg, me, and the team start working, and a thing that really inspires us, trying to move away from the easy train reference, was all these beautiful kind of glyphs and language living on the side of Swiss and Canadian trains that really inspired us. And there was some noteworthy forms that we really liked, like this symbol that kind of became our main logo, which actually just means how far a train needs to turn. So it's really like basic. And we started building a sort of language around that with different glyphs, and working with PP Editorial New, we started to like craft this identity. You can see a couple example here. These are the first kind of mock-ups we got from Greg and his team. But I was looking at the work and I was like, I asked you for a modernist logo, one icon we can use, and you come back with 20? Like, what the fuck? So I asked Greg, can you please refocus this on this modernist logo? And Greg just goes, yeah, sure. Well, we'll do this. So we tried things. We tried different forms, different modernist approach on the L, on the way we can treat the locomotive into a very simple one. but at the end, nothing resonates. And it's like, I don't know how much days, but we're far down the rabbit hole. And me and all the team start to go back to this business card model, and we start to get it. And we're like, hey, what if we don't have a logo? What if we turn this into a typeface we can use? And this is kind of our PP Eureka moment. And by day 362, we go to our favorite foundries in Montreal, Pangram. Anybody knows Pangram here? Well, I'm doing some nice publicity today. Amazing font designer, Mathieu Desjardins. We did a lot of website for him for free, just because we want free typeface. So we had this exchange going. The first one we did was, of course, the site for Editorial New, I think back in 2019, 2020. And we were using this typeface in the logo. But there was something that I didn't like. It was like too rounded. It was not having this sharp effect that I liked. So we went and really modified the typeface to really have a stronger edge to it. Even if you look at the titles, we went for a square. We just made it cooler. You can look at the L, the T. You can see that that serif going higher, some lower caps. But the real big difference was really in sort of the titles and the straight line. Kind of optimized for web view and pixel grids. And we also designed a full set of glyphs. And this was fun because we got to sit down with all the team and kind of wrote all types of like different concept that was really Locomotive. And we came up with a bunch of different, of course some of are abstract, but a lot of symbols that, you know, represent what we are, represent the team. And we really went from like trying to get this one symbol to getting a bunch of them and to create like a sort of language. And of course, like we've launched that brand, so you probably recognize like the main symbol we used, but we have all sorts of variations from the L in different shapes to the what we call the Triforce, which is like the four partners together in the triangle. I'm in the middle. And of course, I'm from Montreal, Canada. Why not a weed leaf to make it fun? And of course, a whole bunch of like cool stuff. So really, at this point, we're like super hyped. It's the first time we have like actually something to work with. And by day 380, we get our first version of PP Locomotive View. And for the first time, anybody in the agency, even project manager, could just grab the typeface and just type in, anything from the brand, from our word mark to, different version of the word marks, to different side project from the store or where we're from, or even our social club. We have 3, by the way. One is very covert. We don't know much about it, but we have some poetry nights in the basement because of them. So with this system, we could build like what you saw a bit earlier in the presentation. We could just create some cool design with just typing different glyphs and different typeface. You can see our address here. So really at this point, we really feel like we have unlocked like a level. Any gamers in the house? And by day 390, we're back at Baya. Why? Because they're our agency for content creation and stuff like that. So we wanted, we have a cool font, we have a cool thing, but how can we push this even further? And these are like mood boards of like the direction we kind of crafted with Baya, and we wanted to push it more into a fashion forward kind of way, and kind of have this idea of blending different digital aspect and real physical things, from projecting images on people or to actually create 3Ds from there. And these are all like some of mood boards, some are like really early explorations of where we wanted to go. We also wanted to create like some sort of bags of glyph. We never did it, but maybe one day we'll do it. and also really this idea of like kind of like taking machinery, like things that are very physical but that represents our digital way, so kind of blending the digital and physical together. And this is like early ideas. We were like, oh, what if we present the website by this like crazy printing machine that just like prints the website? What if we have this 3D printer that prints all those glyphs? But at the end, like these are it was way cooler to just actually print the glyph. So like, I love this so much. So cool. And also we had this crazy ass 3D printing machine printing our logo. So this was actually when we revealed the brand, one of the core images we've used. But also we're a web agency, so we need to show mock-ups, and everybody uses all the same mock-ups all the time. So we wanted to have like our own thing. So we went from like with this idea of transportation, the train, everything, like we started like fancying about like inflatable device and playing with these like inflatable laptops and phones. And the only other thing that was missing was also showing people, which we didn't have. We used friends instead of using actual people at the agency to just create this kind of like brand language with the video. Another key element of the brand, of course, being inspired by those terminal effects. We have a whole set of like pixel to clarity kind of like approach for the photos, and these scrambling letters that forms the actual text at the end, so glimpses of that. So by day 420, there's one missing piece. If you know Locomotive, we're all about the people, and we always had a cool way to present the team. From this in 2016, where you can see my beard grow. This is actually a simple concept. We were doing one photo before, one photo after, and we do like kind of a merge. So I took the photo with my beard, and then I shaved it off, and I took another photo, and we had this cool interaction. Notice no gray hair. It's been a while. 2019, where we were looking for an easier way to represent the team, because like people come in, come out. You don't wanna have like a $2,000 photo shoot every time we have 3 employees. So we started just fucking around with the memojis, just making the memoji of the person, making like do like some sort of movement, and we would record it, and we would use that throughout the website. But the thing is, it's not our thing, it's Apple's thing. So a lot of agents picked up on that, started doing it. So we were really looking for what's going to be our next thing for presenting the team. And on our rooftop, on a certain happy hour, we started fucking around with the app Polycam and started scanning each other and creating 3D models. And we were like, hey, this is actually kind of fun. Like, what can we do with this? So we went from like tried to like create different characters of ours with like maybe like like some sort of like a floor, to like is it busts like that we're doing, and it was not perfect, it was very pixelated, but to me it was kind of appealing. As a gamer, old school gamer, it made me think of the early GTAs and like Tony Hawk games, and I was like, hey, like actually I'm loving the low poly kind of like glitchy like feeling. And you can see it's actually quite easy to set up. We have like this little room with just a softbox, just to make sure the light is well diffused, and we just scan the person with the app. You can see the scanning process here. It takes a couple times sometimes because the scan doesn't like turn up well, but at the end we get a model of the employee, and with just about 15-minute capturing, 10-minute retouching, 5 minutes selecting animations, et voila, we got our team represented. So it's really cool. Actually, we can make them do a bunch of things, from walking, to dancing, or to fight, or do some backflips and stuff like that. And the great thing is like it's easy to manage, and our developers build an actual WebGL platform when we can create all the scenes we want to create with our team. So this was like really something that I enjoyed, embracing flaws and really owning the method. So let's speed things up a bit. Like a couple of days, we're working, we're doing our thing, and by day 750, we're about 24 hours to launch the whole thing and to reveal the new brand and to like change the website to the new one. And there's only one thing in my mind: if only I can get 2 more months to make it better. And I think it's a struggle for a designer to really leave it and let it live, in the world. But I think it's important at one point to let it go. And I think this was, for me in the process, the hardest thing, because I always felt like if I could just have a little more time, I could make it even better. But at the end, we've launched the whole thing. So this is like kind of a compilation of the website, the whole brand. You may be familiar, maybe not, with it from the team. So all those pieces of design we created with the website. And what amazes me the most is the team embraced the brand so much that it created other side projects for the company, like our store. And we have a couple ex-fashion designers in the team that were like, hey, it would be cool, this brand is so cool, we can create garments with it, we can create like stuff. So we did create a small store. There's always exclusive bits on it. You can it's store.locomotive.ca if you're ever interested in buying anything. So I'm going to leave you with 5 things I've learned from this experience of 1,500 days. I can't believe it took so long. Like for jobs we do in 3 months for clients. And like this is what I'm trying to tell with this story is like, even you could be the best designer, when you work for yourself, it becomes this hustle of like trying to find who you are. So 5 things I've learned: just help your designer friends, developer friends, anybody. This is what, like the relationship with me and Greg, the guy that helped me finalize this logo, started with me helping him with his film, and 5 yeas later down the road, he gave, m'a rendu l'appareil, we said in French. He gave me another pass on the stick. Know who you are and embrace it. Be unapologetic about it. Going into this almost 2 months of like strategy with Matthew was really eye-opening. Going out of there, we had a true sense of who we were really, and after that, it was way easier to kind of define our brand. Third one is be open. The best idea evolve. The first time I saw Greg's brand, I was pissed. I was like, this is not what I asked, and I was really mad, but it grew on me, and it became like something really cool. So just be open to possibilities. And the fourth one is don't dwell on the work. Just get it out. You'll have chance to adjust things. You'll have chance to get feedback from your audience. The more you dwell, the more people are just gonna maybe have a similar idea and put it out before you. And the last one, none the least, just celebrate the process. Rebranding is such a cool thing because it touches your identity, touches the core of who you are. Just make sure like it's not a corvée. Sorry, I'm losing my English, but like a task you need to do. Like take it as a passion project. So thank you very much. Just as I go, I just want to thank some important people. Of course, Jean-Sébastien Baya and Haley at Bias Studio, Greg, Matt, and Clea tomorrow that help us, and of course the team of developers, designers, and project manager that worked on the project at Locomotive. thanks a lot for your time. And I can answer a bunch of questions if you have some. Yes, sir.
How did your clients react to the new branding?
Current clients or new clients?
Let's say new clients.
New clients, I think it opened doors. Like, I think our branding before that was not as defined. We were known for just web design, like a pure web design agency, and I haven't talked much about it, but we also do a lot of branding, and this rebrand was also integrating this new vision into it. So it opened some doors for us in fashion industry, things that are a bit more edgy, or in branding, working with other agencies like Porto Rocha or things like that. So it changed the perception of from like, oh, the Montreal web agency to like a design firm, like that was more solid.
And what about current clients?
Current clients, we've lost them, but not lost, but I mean, like lost some people, like, because we were maybe a bit more corporate before in the approach, and now we were like a bit more fun and everything. So maybe like we were leaving those clients anyway, like more institutional clients and stuff like that, moving towards like more like startups and American startups and stuff like that. So it was like, okay, but we were moving to something else. Yes, sir.
A lot of your animations, it looks like maybe back in the day you guys were using Flash and that kind of thing. I know in parts of Canada, mushrooms are legal. Is that the case where you guys are located?
Mushroom, weed, in some part of Vancouver, heroin too. But I'm just, it's just to mirror the Flash comment. I'm old. I'm 46. I designed some Flash websites. I actually worked on the first taxi app for the first iPhone. So like I know what you mean, and I think it's like trends. It goes, it comes back. It depends on the client. Some clients wants that feeling of animation, of smoothness, and other people want accessibility, want fast loading website. It really depends on what you're building as a product. But I definitely get the reference.
So a lot of Canvas then probably moved into Canvas, right? And now it's like you're still using a lot of those effects, right?
Absolutely, but it's definitely more code oriented than like no code or
yeah, of course.
Because we have 12 amazing developers in house.
Another one, the font thing. Like I know way back in the day it was Fontographer. Now do you just tell AI like do this vector? And like the points on the 3D models, like that's a high point count. Like you had to have used something to lower the polygon.
Yeah, we have a script that we built with the developers that make it lighter, and also there's a bit of retouching. When you do the scan, there's some things. Your face crops weird, so what we do is we spread that scan into a spread in Photoshop, and then we can go and touch up and make it better a bit.
Is there a real b-boy on your team? Because you had a flare going on in there, not just a backflip, but actual flare, and you had like some top rock.
Well, all the animation comes from a website where you have just this bank of like different stuff we can do. So when a new employee comes, it's kind of a ritual. They go through the scan, and then they sit down after that with the developer, and they choose 3 or 4 animation for their character that randomize on the website. So it goes with their personality. Like I'm playing soccer because I love soccer. Another one is doing like karate because he does martial arts. So we kind of tap into the personalities of each one to kind of create this.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Your friend who helped you create the branding that you landed on, when you initially gave him that negative reaction, did he know the whole time that you were going to come back and acknowledge?
I think he would say yes. I think Greg would say yes, absolutely. He was not mad at me. I think it was part of the process. I was mad at him. I was like, bro, I want this Design Canada symbol. I want one thing, and you come back with this whole set. But at the end, that's the thing with like letting somebody else in, looking at you, it like gives you another perspective, and that's why I said like be open. Like best things happen. Like later on. It's really that, you know, it needs to grow on you. Like most of the rebrand we do, like often the first glimpse to the client is shocked. But you know, like a week or two after, they're like, oh, it's kind of growing on me. I'm kind of liking this finally. So it's just a process, I think. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
What's next for Locomotive? Are there more aspirations to keep growing the brand? You guys have the store. Is it evolving more?
We're moving a lot towards branding. We just hired 2 brand designers in-house. So we have like a lot of like web people. We were a very, very small team for branding. It was me, Marie-Christine, and another designer. So now we're 5, so we're growing that team. Because more and more we work with a lot of startups. Like Lightship, for example, the RV that you saw somewhere in there. You know, it's been 3 years that we're working for them. We launched our first website that, you know, kind of put the brand out there. Then the second website was introducing some e-commerce features. And then the last version that we just launched like a month ago is really like the more mature version that is thought for more components, for more evolving features, to more vehicles, and of course, way more driven towards sales. So I think what's next for us is really to position ourselves as people that kind of like support other brand teams and other startups and kind of like merge with their team and move forward. We did that for Scout Motors, for example, which is a Volkswagen group. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Scout. It's actually the first SUV. It's an American car from the 60s and 70s, and they kind of like reinvented it as an electric vehicle. And the feature is that it also has a gas tank, so you can have like your 300, 400 miles of battery, but you also have 100 miles gas tank. So it's the true kind of like Scout vehicle. And the same thing, we merged with their team, they had a brand, and they asked us to like pimp that brand a bit, you know, with our digital flair, let's say. And then once we pimp that brand, we translate that into the digital space. Amazing. Anybody else? Yes, sir?
I know you have a lot of internal projects going on, like as a client I use the station, you also have Charcoal. What's going to be the future for those platforms or for those projects?
Well, Charcoal, we're kind of killing it. Like, just for a bit of insight, Charcoal is our own CMS. We had the Charcoal since like 2008. It's been evolving at different version. But I think like right now, like in terms of CMS, like there's like some strong CMS that people want to use, from Craft to like sometimes WordPress or whatever. We use a lot of them, but the problem is we're such a small team, it's hard to compete with other CMS that puts new features. So recently we took the decision of maybe like letting go of our own CMS, and like we work way more in Craft or things like that. But of course, there's always internal project. Like Station is our kind of like client support little app where you can get your whole client journey, your next step, what you need to approve, all your documents are like at the same place, so you don't have to like look for emails for the last version. So this is a very simple tool, but you've used it as a client. I think it's useful. I'm a designer. I'm all over the place. My emails are at 12,000 now. I don't even look at them. It just scares me when I open my Gmail. So like tools like that, even for me, when I'm looking for things for the project, I just go through Station and I go check the last version, and it kind of centralizes everything for the client, but also for the team. And it's not just like millions of Slack messages. Yes.
I'm curious, from your story, you didn't talk much about looking at doing a lot of research and data analysis about, you know, your customers and so forth. And it was refreshing to hear nothing about data. And your story seemed like it was really like kind of an intuitive process. And
Absolutely.
like how it felt, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much you do your own internal facing work like that, and what about with your clients? Because my feeling is that in the world of design and creative, everybody's like, give me the fucking data. Like, tell me that this is going to lead to X, and we know Y about, you know, and they get so into these micro numbers, and like the soul of the work can go out the window.
Well,
it doesn't sound like that was your story.
Well, insights are important. Like insights could be data, insights could be a lot of things. Like the way we do strategy is really just insight opportunity, insight challenge opportunity. That's all I care about. Like you can give me like audits after audits. Like to me that's the mark of great designers. Like you know what you're doing, and it's emotion based, you know. And I think there's some sort of data we look at, like especially if we do like web platforms and stuff like that. There's way more research into like audience and stuff like that. But for brand, I think it depends on the client. Maybe like there's a client we need to do more digging, but sometimes it's just you know what you want to do and you do it. It works. Sometimes it doesn't. But I prefer the kind of human approach, especially in branding. It sets you apart from the generic stuff, and I think data is great, but also data can limit you and scare you, and you know, like great design is not based on data, it's based on great designers. That's actually a quote from Burton Kramer. It's great design are not made in comedy, they're made by great designers. So you need a point of view. If you don't have a point of view and you just have like a toned down version of 10 points of view, like you just have a bad design. So individuality, point of view is super important, and if you like it or you don't, it's easy as that. Yes, sir.
You said, and you kind of follows on this, I think, but you said that you were sort of pivoting from the kind of more traditional clients to sort of the newer thing. Was that a conscious thing? It's like, or subconscious, that we kind of are tired of this and we want to just do what we do, and
well,
or was it after the? You can claim that it was a big plan. And that would be great, right?
Well, you know, like I got to Locomotive in 2013. They were 8. They were selling websites for 10 grand Canadian. Mm-hmm. I told them we need to sell those 100 grand, and they were all laughing at me. And what I brought into the company as a partner is really that vision of what selling around value and selling around opinions instead of time, hour, or things. And this is really where, like for example, like our direction at Locomotive is just a fixed price. It's not like for every project it's the same price, and we have the same time to do it, and we can do 3 times the amount of time and we still make money. So to me, this is where you create great stuff, and it's when you create the environment, create the space for your designers to take time to do something, and not just and not just be like, oh, I just have 10 hours to do this and I can't blow the budget. So when you give time and space, like we call this slow design at the agency, because we're kind of like very fast in terms of development. Once the project, you know, is defined and we're moving into production, like there's a lot of velocity and speed. But the first stages, strategy, design, research, it's really important to take your time and not rush it, especially if you do branding and you're trying to do something special.
Like your discussions with the strategist, were they business discussions as well as brand? Yeah, so you were kind of looking at...
It was really like kind of look at the future, like where we were heading, and what kind of clients, like we call this our fit, like what's the kind of people, like person we like to work with, because you can have like a great fucking brand, but if you close your camera in the first meeting, we're not working with you. Like I don't care. You can have like the biggest brand, the biggest budget. Like if you close your camera, if you're an asshole, if you're like I don't know, like not connecting with my team, trying to do something special, we'll go fast. Like saying it's not for us. Like we can refer another company to you. Like I think relationships are super important in an era where everybody wants to do everything by their own with AI. I think craft, working with people, collaboration to me is the core of everything, especially with web projects. You know, like I teach at UQAM also in Quebec, and first thing I tell the students is like, when I was a designer in 2005, I was doing all the thing, UX research thing. You were doing everything, but now projects are so large to tackle that you need different expertise, and you need to make this all work together. And this is the hard part. You know, I know some businesses like Sidley in Montreal who has like 200 developers, and they can't do what we can do with 30 because it's big machine, and they don't all have like this personal approach to craft that we have.
You guys have lots of toys, it seems like the 3D scanner and all that.
Yeah.
Like, and you probably have some really important like packages, like your 3D studio or whatever. What are some of your favorites? Like among the toys you could use to do fun stuff?
Well, I really love the characters. Like when we do, for example, we have a talk like somewhere, and we're going, like 5 people are going to like Barcelona for like a conference. Well, we can create those videos. We can just play with the character, like walking around. Like we went to Italy and we had like some Italian music, and we were like dancing with the characters. You know, to me that's the greatest part, because it's great to have like that cool brand that's edgy and everything, but it's great when you can put a smile on people's faces. And I think those characters really, like, I just like presented that to you, and you went all like like this. So this is like the kind of energy like we were looking forward with that. And we also, like all these 3D characters, we also printed them in 3D, and we have them next to our trophies. So they're like a little dust and a little MC. Like,
did you have to outsource the printing? Or do you
we have a friend who has a 3D printer, and
so cool.
it's just so long to print, but just like a little character, and then we painted. So like basically like the image, and we placed it there around the agency. It's a fun, like even like you saw those photos on the rooftop. Like the first night when we started playing around, we were just like drinking on the rooftop, like sunset going down, and you know, this is where the coolest ideas come from. You know, when you're having fun. And
in your reel, you have the amazing machine that's like printing paper. Like, is that something you totally did in house, or as much as that have to get outsourced?
This was with Baya. So Baya, just to give you a scope of the team, there was Greg, who worked on the logo with me. There was Baya that did most of the footage. So everything like from the inflatable device, it's all 3D, like motion and stuff like that. This is Baya. This is really what they're good at, you know, kind of like taking brands to the next level with things like that. But most of the things, you know, are built inside in-house. And I think the strength of going with Baya, it was like really creating something that's less flat. You know, we're good at doing like really great Swiss design or grids and stuff like that, but to have that for the first time, to have like actual footage we can use, you know, as a hero that represents the agency, that was like new for us, and it was important too. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
So you mentioned $100,000 websites. I presume that's Canadian, so it's like
American, always US.
It's American. So from a DC government perspective, that's pretty low. Is that still your?
Oh no, but we have different range. Like there's pro bonos because we just love the project. Like we're working on the David Carson's website right now, because I was on a talk with him in Palermo in Italy, and we kind of spent the night on the roof of the hotel drinking wine, and we're like, oh, we're gonna do your website. and you know, we come back to Montreal, and we're doing David Carson's website in exchange of him coming to town and doing a talk for the team and stuff like that. So, you know, there's those kinds of projects that, like the Design Canada that we did for free. These are usually the project that, you know, we go for big awards, and, you know, because we have absolute total freedom to do whatever we want. Then there's the lower end, I would say is like around 75 to 100, 120, usually a small website, 5-6 page, things like that. But we also have like bigger platform. We're working, for example, for Dream Sofa company in California right now who customizes sofa. It's close to like almost 700,000. but it's a 2-year job, you know. it's a bigger platform, a lot of WebGL, a lot of customization. We're actually in connection with the Shopify team because it's going to be a Shopify website, and we're busting their system, and we need to find a solution, and we're innovating in the Shopify space. So our developers are in touch with their developers to make this project work within the Shopify ecosystem, because the client wants a theme, he doesn't want to go headless. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to do all this new innovative stuff for customization in the Shopify platform. So a lot of new stuff, innovation in the space also. Yes.
Maybe one more. What do you think it's in, say 3 years down the line, you look at the website and you say, let's make some updates. Is it intuition or is there a timeline? How do you know when to go to that next level? And
You mean for us?
or just in general, like,
Well, I mean, if you really like, I would say 5 years the maximum, 2 years the minimum. Like after 2 years, you should be thinking about improvements or like just refreshing or just bringing something new to the website. Every year is even better. Like if you try to, like for Lightship, for example, it was like, hey, every year we follow the model of the business and we create, like, it's still the same website, but we make it evolve. For our websites, you know, you saw 2010, 13, 16, 18, then 2023. We're getting into 2026, so yeah, we're probably gonna spice it up next year. That's the fun part, you know, working on your stuff. And since we have this wonderful brand right now, like even the meetings for updating the website, there's like too many good ideas, so we'll have to curate. Any other one? Well, thank you very much.